tuning into this month, October's Market of the Moment. We have it down titled as Spooky Stats. It's spooky if you've never seen any of the recent market statistics or recent data. I'm sure you heard a bunch of things. The market's crazy. It's a seller's market. But here we're going to go into depth, a deep dive in what's really going on in regards to the numbers and statistics, and hopefully better inform you on making a decision, whether you're planning on buying and selling now or years down the line. So like I said, my name is Austin Acid, and I am here with Sean Stewart. We are Stewart Team Homes. Let's just jump right into things. Sean's going to take it over for the market statistics.
Okay. So the spooky stats for the real estate market right now here in October, we're seeing a lot of the same, yet it's interesting. There's I'm going to say a little bit of a slowdown and or that much of one. We're seeing a little bit of where more homes are coming on the market and staying on the market a little bit longer. Okay. So you see the graph in front of you, dating back to 2018, we had 14,000 plus homes for sale available. And today, we have under 7,000 homes. So that's, 50% less. We're seeing changes in regards to for sale, less homes on the market in September, and less new listings coming on the market in September. Sometimes it has to deal with seasonality, where September is a time where everyone's going back to school. So they may pause in regards to putting their home on the market. That's not unlikely. Less homes sold in September. If you just look at compared to 20, compared to 21, we did have a lot of pent up demand still in 2020 September, because that we were taking care of what did not sell during the beginning of COVID. So you really have to look a little bit deeper into those numbers. I think the numbers that really show the true market are those pended numbers. So when you look at that red line is staying with or above the new listings that hit the market, and it still is. New listings hit the market. The good ones are priced right, are going under contract. If we see any softening at all, we're not getting 6 offers on a property. We're only getting 1 or 2. Yet, as we're going to show you, homes are still selling at list price on average. So 100% list price to sale price ratio. What do you see there, Austin?
Yeah, I see, prior to COVID, we had a lot more inventory. It has been a constant decline since 07, 08. You'll see in a minute. But inventory has been on a decline, but you do have the seasonality. And once COVID hit, we didn't see an uptick of the amount of homes as new listings are currently still available. With the low interest rates, this has increased the demand for the buyers, and as you can see, the pended, that is the highest it's ever been in recent history. That more homes are going under contract than ever, but there's not many that are staying available. Houses that are priced right, they sell. Houses that are priced right and present very well, they
Correct.
sell in a 3-day span. Hits the market on a Thursday. They have 15 showings, and there's a deadline Sunday evening. That's kind of a timeline that's very common. And houses that need some cosmetic updating, whether it's not priced right, maybe it's priced right at the market, maybe a little bit too high, those ones are sitting 10 days or more, and they either sell at value.
Perfect example, Austin. Sorry to cut you off. Perfect example, though, is the house I just put under contract this week. It was on the market for 12 days. You just use 10, 12 days on the market. And it was overpriced. And, I'm sure it was a seller saying, hey, the market's high. Let me try. Well, we brought in a good offer that was about $10,000 less than the list price. It needs a new roof. It needs some cosmetic updates on the inside. It wasn't worth the list price. What we went in and showed why it wasn't worth the list price. And we were able to back our offer up with statistics, and we got the offer accepted. So that's still happening. People need to know that not every house that is placed on the market is selling for 100% or 120% list price to sale price values. Not every house that goes on the market is listed at 250 and sells for 275. That's not the case. It's still a competitive market. We're still under, we don't have enough inventory, and we have a lot of demand, and that isn't going to stop. It may soften a little bit. It's not going to stop.
Yeah. So, Sean, tell us what the increase in demand plays a role into the prices.
Well, you could see where we're starting to, I've noticed more price reductions in the MLS than I have in 2 years. You could see this graph of the active listings. We're September over, from August to September month, that we've dropped 3% from 284 to 276 on the average active list price. Year over year, we're only up, a blip, 275 to 276. The average sold prices, however, year over year are up 10%. Okay. The average sold price continues to go up. However, I believe buyers are finally saying enough's enough, and sellers are having to, price their homes a little bit more aggressively than they have previously. Mm-hmm. Not only that, when you're getting 1 or 2 offers, you're not competing with 6 or 7. You don't have those outrageous offers that are coming in 10 to 15 to 20% over list price.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what it sounds like is home prices, when they're being sold, are still on the rise, but I see a little tightening gap in regards to the sold compared to the for sale prices.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, the for sale right now, we got like 7,000 homes on the market. And that is actually down compared to last year, like 6%. Homes listed in September is 7.3% down compared to last month, and 4% down compared to last year. And what we're seeing though is closings are a little bit down in September compared to last month, and again 3% down compared to last year. Yet the homes placed under contract, that's what we're seeing. The homes that are going under contract, we've got, compared to last year, we're up almost 15%. So we're seeing a little bit of a lull, but these closings, we've got 15% more pending properties than we did last year. So that just means in 30 days, we're going to see 15% more closings. Does it make sense?
It does. So how does this play a role? A lot of times, I see sellers that pull up price per square foot. How does that correlate to the sale price and sold prices?
Yeah, price per square foot is a good, I guess, baseline to look at. It really doesn't tell you what, the square footage of one house equal to the square footage of another house may not have the same amenities in the home, may not be in the same neighborhood, and so your price per square foot will vary, and that's why this is an average. Mm-hmm. Naturally, we've seen the increases on homes over the past 2 years, pretty dramatic increases. So that's going to be the house per square foot value will rise with that. And that's where you're seeing the year over year 12.3% change.
Makes sense. Yeah. So taking a look at this graph right here, this shows you the orange bars is the continuous days on the market, how long a house sits on the market. Currently, it's at about 36 days, and this is a 12.5% increase from last month. So a little bit increase in regards to the days on market that houses are sitting, but still, as you can see, significantly lower in comparison to prior to COVID. And end of 2019, we're around 80 days on the market, and right now we're less than half of that. So houses
Yeah.
are not sitting very long on the market. I did
And
say,
that, something else, Austin, with that, I think is important for, people to realize is a home may have an accepted offer on it in 4 days, 5 days. And yet it doesn't go under contract until contingencies are removed very often. So, it doesn't go into the status change in the multiple listing service may seem longer, like 36 days compared to what reality is. That house was technically off the market because they're doing home inspections and getting financing in line.
Yeah.
So, but nonetheless, it's still a very short average days on market.
The green bar above those orange bars, that is the sale price to original price ratio, and we had the highest it's ever been in like June or July. It peaked at 102%. So basically, a house that was listed at 200,000, it was sold at 204. We had a decline since then. We're down to 100%. So on average, houses are selling for basically what they're listed. So that can kind of go align with and make a story for the tightening of the gap in regards to the for sale prices and the sold prices. The sold prices have been increasing, but like we said earlier, people aren't overpaying for like what they were in the peak of COVID at the end of last year when home prices were appreciating 15% year over year. Things are slowing down a little bit. Houses are being priced a little bit better, and if not, they're doing reductions and getting under contract that way.
Yeah, the market's still extremely active. We're using the word slowing down a little bit and softening. Some of it has to do with the appraisals. We're running into appraisal problems where houses are selling for more than the appraised value, and either the seller's going to have to lower their price, negotiate down to be able to close that sale, and or a buyer's going to bring more money to the table. Hence the appraisal gaps that, were being covered by buyers very often. And they were doing that when they were in competition with 6 or 7 other offers. Now, you don't have to waive inspections and do the appraisal gap if you're the only guy in town and you're the only offer. That's where we're seeing that 100%. That, and I believe real estate agents like ourselves, we've represented both buyers and sellers and have had to deal with the appraisal issues. So our coaching and our consulting and our counseling with our buyers and our sellers, I believe, has something to do with the market stabilizing a little bit in regards to that list price to sale price ratio.
Yeah. I think a good way to put it is with the low supply, high demand, and we had such a significant increase in home prices. Now the home prices are starting to normalize and stabilize and becoming new norms, new averages, if that makes sense.
They are. Yeah. The appreciation is slowing. It was white hot, and right now it's red hot. It's still hot, but
Yeah.
it's slowing a little bit. And, I think we'll see that appreciation, through forecasts, the economic forecast for the end of this year, fourth quarter, and going into 2022 is we are still going to see significant appreciation in our properties. Yet it will be less than the 15 to 20%, that 18% average. We're going to see more in the 10 or 11%, which is still phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And interest rates are going to have a lot to do with the buying power that buyers either exercise by doing it now and get more house for their money, or wait and maybe get less house for their money because of interest rates.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yes, let's take a look at this slide right here. I did a comparison. I did in our last one, and I did it again in this one. I think it's very important to have this to put things in perspective. On the left side of the graph, you have back in 2007 when we had the housing crisis, where we had a buyer's market when we had an oversupply for amount of houses that are for sale. Okay, we had around 42,500 houses that were available, and about 3,500 that sold. Now in this seller's market, basically the opposite, we have around very close to 7,000 houses available and 5,800 that sold. So actually more houses are selling now, and we have a significant amount of loss of inventory. You think about what you learned in the past, economics, supply and demand. Supply is at an all-time low, demand is at an all-time high. And this is what's driving home prices, and we'll continue to see home prices to increase until we get to an even or oversupply, which I don't think will ever happen. The reason why we had the housing crisis is because of bad lending practices. It wasn't an issue with like houses per se. It was, an issue with the way borrowers obtained mortgage loans and failed to pay those, and bankruptcy, and we had an oversupply because of that.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, truly, take a look at the pendids and the solds, through the past 10 plus, what is that, 14 years, and that red line doesn't move very much. That blue line, moves down, in regards to new listings. The sold averages doesn't really grow that much. I mean, we were at a low point, at the beginning of 2008 and, and through the end of 2011. The 2007 was just the beginning of the crash. I was in it. And I had never seen anything like it before. And quite honestly, it was scary as a real estate agent, as just being a professional in the market at that moment. We had to sustain it. And if you were able to sustain it and come out the other end and you survived it, we came out better for it because better business practices all around in our real estate industry. Yet I want to point out that there is not a big, if you're looking 3,500 to 5,800, that's not that big of a difference in regards to solds, and that was at the low mark going in there in 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11. On average, you're going to have in our Northern Ohio MLS, you're going to have around 5,000 houses sell to 6,000 houses sell every single month. That's the average. And we're going to continue to see that average. It just really is affected by the supply. And that's why we're seeing the growth that we're seeing. It's not like we have a bunch of people jumping in to the marketplace more so than we usually do. Because if you look in the past, going way back, 5,000 to 6,000 sales a month is fairly normal. And we're going to continue to see that going into 2022. It really will be affected in regards to what's available for those 6,000 people who want to buy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we're starting to see, words like softening market, cooling market. Things are, it's moderating. It is,
Mm-hmm.
but that's because of what's available, and because of the dramatic increases we've seen over the past 2 years. That can't be sustained. We'll start to continue to see growth and appreciation, yet it just won't be as great as it was in 2000 and 2001.
Mm-hmm. And then for this graph right here, I pulled up the interest rates for and the blue bar right here is a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. Probably one of the more common types of loan products that borrowers get. But we had at the end of last year, basically the lowest it's ever been, around like a 2.6%, and slightly increase and then decrease. And we're starting to increase a little bit. And right now we're at about 3.0 for the 30-year fixed rate mortgage. So this is what's ultimately driving the demand in the market. If I was to zoom out, a couple years ago, we had 4.5% for the interest rates. 10 years ago, we're nearing like 7-8% interest rates. So the combination of low supply, high demand is driving those prices. So to kind of summarize and give us a better idea of what the market's, what's going on in the market. Some of the things we're seeing in the front lines helping buyers and seller. Inventory is still low, still at all-time low levels. We mentioned earlier houses that present very well, marketed well, good interior pictures, it's updated, maybe had new appliances, new roof. Those houses are the ones that are going quickly, and the combination of it being priced right. They go quickly, they go in a 3 or 4 day span, multiple offers. So that's that scenario. If a home is not priced right, it's going to sit, and in 2 weeks, it's going to have a price reduction.
And add to that, Austin, not priced right and isn't in the right condition.
In the right condition, right? If it needs cosmetic updating, the kitchen's not updated, maybe it has some older appliances, or the roof's older, the furnace is older. Those are the ones that are sitting a little bit longer and are less competitive. So we have the flexibility when we're working with buyers and we're coming across houses that are in that category. We have the ability to possibly negotiate the offer, price, and terms a little more than the other scenario. So I mentioned lower competition. Instead of 4, 5 offers, now there's 1 or 2. There's still a buyer that's willing to pay for something that's at a higher price point, but there's just less of them out there. And then, prices are like stabilizing. And what we see in this market, in my opinion, is becoming the new norm. And, we appreciated 15, 18% in the past year and a half. That, in my opinion, will start to slow down. And, what we see out there is, becoming the new norm. And, from here into the next decade, they will continue to rise, in my opinion. And I don't see or predict any decline in the future.
Yeah. Housing market, we're in the quarter of forecasts for real estate. You and I will probably be doing, continuing will add to our forecast every single month, and we could see a slowdown. But a slowdown in a crazy frenzied market like we've had won't seem like much of a slowdown in the coming months, because it'll be a welcome change, but we're still in a hot market. It will slow down, yet it's still hot. So don't be fooled by the predictions of things slowing down. Don't take it for the true essence of slowdown. It's just going to cool down, a welcome change, hopefully more inventory. Yet we're never, again, in my opinion, Austin's opinion, and we say our opinion is formed from doing this every single day, as well as reading the forecasts of what is happening in the market. We're well educated in what we're talking about. So the fact that it may, this new norm, don't be waiting around and hoping that the prices are going to drop 5% or 10%. They've risen 15 to 20% year over, past couple of years, and they'll appreciate again throughout 2022, approximately 10%. I mean, that's a lot of growth in a 3-year span. Don't think in 2023 it's going to drop 5%. Don't think in 2022 fourth quarter it's going to drop. Perfect timing. Talk about it, Austin.
Yeah. So, you can never time the market. And I pulled up this infograph on, if you would purchase a home today, priced at $350,000, and you're able to lock in a 2.5% interest rate, that's your monthly payment, $1,382. If you were to wait, and maybe we have this crazy construction, new builds that are hitting the shelves left and right, and we have a market where we're in an oversupply, and you think the prices are going to decline. Okay, let's say they do. Let's say they do decline to $50,000 difference. When that does happen, your interest rates are going to increase as well. And let's say they go up to 4.5% when they, where that number was 2.5 years ago. Now your monthly payment is $1,520. So even though the purchase price significantly decreased, your interest rate is going to go up as well. So you're actually going to be paying more if you consider waiting when the market corrects itself, and compared to if you overpaid for a house at these interest rates were basically all-time low.
Yeah, you're paying less and getting more today, and you're paying more and getting less tomorrow if you wait. And so I rather pay less money and get more for my money today than try to guess the market and time the market when you can't. And eventually you're going to end up spending more money and getting less value for your money in regards to real estate.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning into this month's October Mark of the Moment. Feel free to comment your guys' thoughts, what you guys thought, like, share, reply. If you guys are thinking about buying or selling, or had any questions about the current real estate market, be more than happy to have a conversation and hopefully answer your questions or see how we can help.
Sounds great. Thanks a lot.
All right. See you guys.